Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's June 5th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery, and you see British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. If you take a look here, you can see the storm system out over the Gulf of Alaska. And what's going to be going on here is this is going to be backing up just enough here, this energy out over the ocean, where it allows for some ridging here to develop along the west coast of North America. And we're going to get some warmer temperatures here. And as you can see, we've already got some nice sunshine out there for some areas. You see Portland, the fog is burning off, and there's been some sunshine off and on across some of the Seattle metro as well. Some clouds still streaming into British Columbia, however, some probably light precipitation ongoing with that as well. And we're going to look at the extended forecast as we always do as we go through the video here today, because it looks like we may have somewhat of an active mid portion of June coming up here. So we're going to dive into those details a bit. You can see the beach hazard statements here on the coastal areas, and this continues all the way down the Oregon coast. I'd probably just put that out for some of the Washington coast here as well, up towards Quileute as well, because we're going to have some increased wave activity here for a couple days, and we'll take a look at that here in a moment. Also, you can see Seattle 62 degrees yesterday, and let's take a look at the precipitation amounts. 11 hundredths of an inch rain, 34 hundredths of an inch before that, and 65 hundredths of an inch before that. So we're already up over an inch of rain on the month so far, and you can see the peak wind gusts. Look at that, 38 miles per hour on June 3rd. They're pretty blustery conditions. I saw a lot of small branches down yesterday on my walk through one of the parks out here. And they're not updating these yet. We don't have the third or the fourth in just yet. So we're going to skip across that. And we'll take a look at Portland, Oregon, and National Weather Service. And you can see they do have that beach hazard statements here up and down the coastal areas. And this is for abnormally high waves and surf expected due to late season west swell of 10 to 14 feet, which could lead to hazardous beach conditions, including sneaker waves here. And it's that time of year where we start to get some tourists here and whatnot, and people are out and about maybe a little bit more here. And you're not used to some of this late season wave action here. So some of these waves can be life-threatening. You know, it can sweep you off your feet and pull you out. It seems to get people every single day. So hopefully we can get the word out about that and try to reduce some of that risk. Now, if we take a look here at significant wave height, you can see over the next few days, we do have that increased wave activity here along much of the Pacific Northwest, up across Vancouver Island, Washington, and Oregon. And we get a bit of a break here as we go through Thursday and on into Friday, but then we got another deep low forming across the Gulf of Alaska. Won't have too much of an impact here on us in the Pacific Northwest other than spreading some wave action there. And we squall further into the extended forecast and maybe starting to pick up a little bit more of a summertime wave regime here along the West Coast. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, this one is a very nice one to get, especially for the price. It works with your smartphone here. It talks to other weather stations. It integrates with them as well. It's all solar powered and wireless ultrasonic anemometer and a haptic rain gauge. It'll tell you when it starts raining at your house. Has a nice widget up there that I like to glance at, and it just shows you the temperature at your house anytime you want to see it. And when there's any kind of lightning around, it can send you a message to your phone as well, and the station records those. Highly recommended. Taking a look here, this is Pendleton, Oregon. You can see the increasing heat by the end of the week. Look at this, Hermiston 95, Tri-Cities 95. You're talking about Fossil at 86. Look at Bend getting to 88, Walla Walla 93, even Easton 84, Ellensburg 87, and Yakima 92. So we're definitely going to be ramping the temperatures up. Look at that for Saturday, Tri-Cities at 96 degrees, checking up in here. And there is a chance in some areas even hitting 100 degrees in the warmest areas. This is for Spokane National Weather Service. Check this out. By the time we move into Friday and Saturday, we're starting to talk about some temperatures reaching the 90s here. And then we start to bring potentially another system as we go through the end of the weekend here, with a 20% chance of thunderstorms. We'll be visiting that daily here as well. So if we take a look at the European, this is the Hawaiian Islands out to the bottom left. There's the Pacific Ocean. We've got British Columbia, we've got Washington, and we've got Oregon there. So let's put this into motion. You can see the ridge trying to build here, and that's going to bring some warm weather for a few days as we go through at least the early portion of the weekend, most likely. Then we may have a system sliding through. You can kind of see this trough trying to come in here, even though heights are still relatively high for this time of year. And then we may build another ridge after that as we go through next week. We'll see how that goes here, but we could have a weak system sliding through here at the end of the weekend. Now, if we take a look a bit further out, we're going to look at the European artificial intelligence on the left. We're going to look at the GFS on the right here as well. We're going to compare, and you can see the ridge in the short term building across the region here. Maybe a very weak system sliding through as we go through the day. Sunday, ridge tries to rebuild here, but then you can see things starting to flatten out a bit here. More of a zonal flow on the European model run starts to show up on the GFS as well. And this is about the June 12th time frame. And you can see some troughing developing here right off the Pacific Northwest on both models. You can see the disagreement in the exact placement and the depth of this trough though as well. So it's something to be looking at here as we go through mid-June, as it looks like we may have some more systems headed our way. It's been showing up for a few days in the model runs now, which also might actually correlate to some increased severe weather activity across the plains. I may be out chasing that for a couple days as well. Now, if we look at the European, you can see that we are going to be drying out here over the next few days. Western British Columbia, the last one to dry out. And then we scroll through Thursday and we go on into Friday. And actually, let me back up a little bit here, because you can see as we go through Thursday afternoon, you see this activity here. That could be thunderstorm activity here across some of eastern Oregon. So I wanted to point that out as well. I'm going to scroll through Friday afternoon, and you can see some of that thunderstorm activity across extreme northern Nevada, maybe clipping southern Idaho there as also. We go through Saturday. You can see a very weak frontal system falling apart here as we go through the day Saturday as well. So we'll be breaking that down day by day to see if that system that tries to roll through at the end of the weekend and on and through early next week has any chance of bringing significant weather to our area. Now, if we take a look at National Blended Models, this is for today, Wednesday, June 5th. There's Thursday, June 6th, 71 degrees. Look at Friday, 76 for Seattle, upper 80s for the Willamette Valley. Look at Eastern Washington, Oregon, really ramping up by Saturday. Check it out, 81 for Seattle, some 80s again across Willamette Valley, even 80 up towards Vancouver, British Columbia. And look at some of these temperatures here east of the Cascades. I mean, the Tri-City is a 98-degree reading there, showing up on the National Blended Models. And if we go on in through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you can kind of see we're just getting closer to average at that time frame here, but we'll worry about that as we get closer to it. Here's Seattle, Tacoma. Check it out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You might be looking at a very nice weekend upcoming here, and temperatures remaining elevated maybe through this early portion of next week. We'll see how that goes. And then you can see the systems that might be showing up as we go through mid-June. So our exciting weather may not be done just yet. And as you know, if you've been living here for any length of time, you can get some active weather really right up to the 4th of July some years. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll be monitoring that day by day. Here's Bend Municipal Airport, and you can see that it does have that trough coming mid-June as well, with some nice temperatures in the meantime. Here's Spokane. You can see the warm up and then maybe that drop down as we go through mid-month. Here we're looking at Seattle Tacoma International Airport on the European. This is not the European, this is the GFS. Sorry. There's 30 Ensemble members with the GFS, and each one of these has tweaked its initial conditions in the model runs to try to correct for any errors we may have in our initial forecast. So if we take a look here, the blue line is actually the control line. That's the initial forecast. The green line is the mean there for the Ensemble runs, and these dashed lines here are the extremes that the Ensembles are showing. And you can see as we get towards the mid portion of June, we kind of have this chaotic look as where some systems may re-arrive here for the Pacific Northwest. And you can see in the meantime, we're not looking at much precipitation for the next few days. This is a European version of that, has 50 Ensemble members. And again, this is for CTAC. And as we go through this weekend, we do have that chance of a weak system moving through. And some of these Ensemble runs actually have some pretty interesting totals, some heavier amounts. But we'll take a look at that again tomorrow. Here's the 6 to 10 day, June 10th through 14th. Check it out, above average across the West Coast, readily apparent there. 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. You can see the below average there across the Pacific Northwest. And this is something we'll be looking at off and on here as we start to move into fire season, 7 day significant fire potential. And you can see these different forecast areas. NW6, for example, on Thursday starts to get into some moderate risk here as well. We're going to dry out a bit here, and we're going to start to kick some westerly winds across the region, especially as we go through the end of the weekend coming up here. So, you know, we'll be watching this here. Right now, we're doing okay, even though our snowpack is pretty bad. We're not quite dry enough yet where we're going to have big widespread fire activity just yet anyway. So anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We will do this all again tomorrow and check out what is coming in our extended forecast, and I will talk to you guys then.